Welcome to the Deadpan Soufflé. This here is a podcast. And if you don't know what a podcast is, then I guess I'm morally obliged to summon rescue services for you because you're clearly a hapless spelunker whose rope snapped above a cenote and plunged you into Stygian darkness. And you've dwelt there for the past 2.5 decades, I guess. The first podcast, something like 2003, 2004. Although how you're receiving this communique boggles the mind, unless there's a Starlink hovering somewhere above the Yucatan Peninsula. Um, and then there's the mystery of how you're keeping your mobile device charged, which is a mystery that is positively fathomless, much like the subterranean cave in which you find yourself trapped. Maybe you have access to a school of eels. I guess maybe a grid of eels, an electric grid of eels would be the proper collective noun. I don't know, but then I guess if you fell into the cave circa 2003, you wouldn't have a smartphone anyway, which makes this entire preamble redundant. Unless a slightly less hapless spelunker abseiling down the face of the cliff dropped his cellular communications device into the underground cave system, and it was carried to you by a bat. Or maybe you were traversing the cave system and I don't know, you came upon it like Gollum the Ring. Anyway, if you do have a smartphone, I can only assume that you've grown comfortable dwelling with eyeless newts and assorted other extremophiles. Maybe you've lost your eyes too, and you've adjusted to fumarole hot tubs, fumarole saunas, and guano exfoliation sessions. Why do people start podcasts? In my case, I am tech savvy enough to figure out how to record and upload a video to YouTube, but not tech savvy enough to circumnavigate the Indeed algorithms and secure myself a real job. So that's my story. It's my background. All art is propaganda. Just like the Odyssey is a warning in dactylic hexameter to anybody who would even dream of overstaying their welcome at the banquet and requesting another skiffos of wine, or even an amphora, God forbid. So too is social media and the podcast, a kind of personal agitprop. Really, you see this all the time. People they take their selfies and over that selfie they'll superimpose a caption that says something like, "Remember when you're at the supermarket today to get line caught tuna," or something. I don't know, so future generations can have access to niçoise. But in the photo, it's just them. There's no pictorial reference to tuna whatsoever. There's not a hook. There's not a worm. There's not a fish. There's not even a jetty in the background. It's just me. Hello, I'm I'm kind of paranoid that people aren't thinking about me, and I need an excuse to exhibit myself, I guess. Um, that's that. So I'm floating this little podcast here, like one might float a tentative stock on the exchange, on the stock market there. Um, Although I fully allow for the possibility that I might end up floating in a stock, a laughing stock. It's possible. It's it's more than feasible, really. It's probable, actually, and I'll be pelted, virtually pelted with tomatoes and grapes, tubers, potatoes. That's why they call them YouTubers, I think. Well, we've gone to the bottom of that mystery. We still don't know how our benighted spelunker is accessing YouTube, but we know that now. Yeah, I do actually have a joke about potatoes, tubers, because my social media handle is Doctor Strange Laugh, or How I Learned to Love Two Bomb. You see what I did there? That's clever. It's exculpatory. It's exculpatory. It proclaims that I don't take myself seriously and I know I'm lame, which makes me automatically immune to all criticism. So that potato joke. Anyway, here's a potato joke. So anyway, yeah. There's this guy potato and this gal potato, and the guy potato, he's been jumping through hoops. He's been following the proper procedures, and he's finally ready to pop the question. He's finally ready to turn his beloved into his betrothed, and so. Anyway, the guy potato actually told me this himself, so I'm just relaying it back to you. So this potato spuddy of mine, he goes to the dame. He's the swain. He goes to his dame. Okay, good start. And he gets down on one. Well, potatoes don't really have knees, so I guess he gets down on himself. He makes himself prostrate before his childhood sweetheart. They grew up in the same furrow. And in lieu of a ring, he pulls out a petri dish and opens it up. And he told me all of this, and I was shocked because apparently this petri dish contained a specimen, a sample of Phytophthora infestans. And I said to him, "Good God, man! You're supposed to plight your troth, not blight your troth." So you are most welcome. I think this podcast is just going to be me talking, because I'm not very socially au fait. There's not a lot of savoir-faire seeping from my social pores. Like yesterday, I was walking behind a lady with a stroller. I was late to work. I wanted to overtake her, so I speed up. And she sped up, and I couldn't understand this. This was positively discombobulating. And I wasn't about to back down. I wasn't about to fall back again. So I sped up even more, and she followed my lead. And suddenly it's like Ben-Hur, and we're racing each other. It's like a race to the death, to the next traffic stop. And all the while I'm feeling awkward because all I wanted to do was just not be late for work. I don't get people, really. I just simply don't. So it'll probably be just a monologue, a monoquy as opposed to a colloquy. I don't know. And I'm always gonna end these bad boys on some jokes, because it's kind of what I do. I write obscure jokes that have an academic premise but a really stupid punchline. So I'm just gonna go with it. It's who I am. I'm being true to myself. Um, as per, Hamlet. Um, so let's give these a try. Let's see what we've got here today. I've got them on torn bits of white card, just to enhance the professional feel of this cast. So the 19th century author, playwright, and classicist Oscar Wilde once said that we're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking up at the stars. But all I saw was a cope. Now you know you're a gifted joke writer when you have to explain the joke. Cope in this context has two meanings. It's a double entendre, if you will. And I know you will, because you're an amenable and agreeable audience. The first is obviously the modern use of cope, which is like something that helps you deal with negative circumstances. And then the second is it's an archaic word for firmament, for the sky. So he said, looking up at the stars, that's a cope. Anyway, that's the joke. It was a cope. What else we got? What else we got? I told you my potato joke, right? I did give you my. Now, these jokes are lame, and these jokes are so lame that if Jesus Christ himself laid hands upon them, they would still be shunned in all of Judea. Very likely, they'd be sent forth from the city, banished into the desert, never to be seen again, never to be able to enter the temple and do the whole Mosaic thing that they used to do. I'm going to finish on this one. This is a literary joke. So, if any of you know or guess the novel that inspired this one, just put in the comments and you will get my respect. Not a lot of respect, because it's a pretty well-known book. It's quite famous, actually. And you won't get a mention on this cast. But, maybe you'll be able to sleep a little more easily. But now you'll be able to look yourself straight in the eye in the mirror, in the looking glass, and say, you did good, kid. You did good. And maybe that'll give you some reason to just carry on going. So here's the literary joke. The expression red letter day usually has positive connotations, unless you're a mid-17th century Puritan and a nymphomaniac. So, thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. I hope you are in fine fettle. And I wish you all the best of luck in the days ahead. Okay. So long.